So in this video, I'm going to show all tattooers out there the exact marketing funnel and strategy that you can use to start booking thousands more in appointments in the next 30 days. That's the goal of this video. I am going to show you the whole thing. I'm not holding anything back from start to finish. And in the very end of this video, I'm going to show you how to apply all of it. So stay tuned for that. But if you've noticed that things have slowed down over the past year, it's not that tattooing is slowing down. In fact, there are more people getting tattooed than ever right now, but being that the market is saturated 100%, we need to implement marketing strategies so that we stand out in a saturated market. Because right now, most tattooers are doing the same thing. They're focusing on just doing good tattoos and drawing more and posting their pictures on Instagram, and it's not quite cutting it. So just to show you that I'm not completely full of shit and that this stuff really works, I just want to show you a couple examples of tattooers that have implemented this marketing strategy and how quickly it's been able to work for them. So check this out. Take Keelan, for example. He's a tattooer that I showed how to use this marketing strategy months ago. And in just the first 2 weeks, he was able to book 11 appointments, took over $1,100 in deposits, and he estimated roughly $5,000 in total revenue generated from this marketing strategy. So we have Daniel. Now, I'll be honest, Daniel's in Australia. So that 10 to 20K in 1 week, it's more like 5 to 10K in 1 week, but like in USD, but that's pretty serious. 23 appointments using this marketing strategy that I'm going to break down for you. And he said, the potential was always there for me to book these clients, but without the correct marketing tools and how to go about it, I probably wouldn't have many bookings, because he actually just moved to a new city and he had no existing clients. So not only does this stuff work for tattooers that are well established, but even if you're moving to a new city or you recently moved somewhere and you want to build a new clientele, this stuff works for that as well. Matt Miller. Matt's story is honestly, I've heard a lot of tattooers recently saying, and you've probably seen it on Instagram, that, not gonna lie, I was about to Alt F4 my tattoo career. I've seen so many posts recently of tattooers saying, I'm about to get a second job. I'm going to quit tattooing. I've been tattooing for a decade or more. And to me, that just seems insane to have given your whole life to a craft, and then instead of actually just learning how to grow and market your business, spend some time, energy, money investing in yourself and your future, you're going to go and bag groceries? You're going to flip burgers? You're going to learn a trade, tech, plumbing? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense when you can just learn how to grow your business and take all that investment of time, energy, and money you've already put into tattooing and adapt to the changes in the market. That's it. It blows my mind that people are saying that they'd rather get a different job than adapt to a changing market. So, he came in, he almost had 5 or 6 appointments. That was it. And he was able to book out his entire rest of his month using this strategy. So this stuff works for tattooers all over the place. Nick Luna, he's actually a shop owner. He was making content, and I will be honest, this does involve content on social media. I'm not going to lie, but you'll see how it applies to this marketing strategy. He was already making a good amount of content, but it wasn't really the right content. It wasn't speaking to his audience. And he was doing about 6 to 8K per month after implementing the strategy. And what you're seeing today, consider this the crash course. I do have a full program called the Artful Marketer, which I'll talk about at the very end if you're interested. But this is the crash course today. And honestly, if you can apply all this stuff that I'm showing you today into your business, you don't need to work with me. So that, just putting that out there. You can teach this to yourself. You can learn from this video. But he was able to do from 6 to 8K, 10 to 15K, and working 3 days per week instead of 5 days. So this stuff works over and over. And just to show, I've had people say like, Ryan, you just made those testimonials on, Photoshop or something like that. Like, nah, these are real testimonial DMs people sent me from putting this stuff to work. But just to show that I'm not full of shit, I have a video. This is DL went from 3K to between 6 and 8K per month. Check this out.
Everybody has slow seasons, but it felt like this one was like a full slow year of just, okay, well, maybe next month will be better. Maybe next month will be better. And it just was not panning out. Before Ryan's course, I was making around 3,000 a month on a good month. I was booked out less than a week. It was like a few days at a time. After taking Ryan's course, I've been booked out about a month to a month and a half, and I've been making closer to, I think my lowest month was around 5K. My best month was about 8K.
So if you felt like this past slow season has been more like a slow year, then I want you to pay close attention to this strategy. Start implementing this. It's very simple. It can be expanded on and be a little bit more complicated, but just the very basics of it, anyone can implement into their business. And this is not just for tattooing businesses, although I am applying this specifically for tattooers. I just want you to know this stuff absolutely is life-changing. And I'm going to go over the whole thing. I'm not going to hold anything back, but I do want to say it might not be as life-changing as this amazing haircut. What do you think? I invented it. I think I call it the mullet hawk. Oh hell no! It's like business in the front, mohawk in the back. I'm just fucking with you. So I'm gonna go over this whole strategy right now. Let's just dive into it and take a look. Before we get started, I just want to share a little bit more about my story. How did I go from being a tattooer? And these are some of the tattoos that I did over my career. I was tattooing for over 13 years. And now I really just focus on helping tattooers grow their business. How did that even happen? To give you a sense, and I think some of you can even identify with my story quite a bit. I grew up in New York City. I worked at street shops, the typical bongs and crack pipes in the front, tattoo shop in the back kind of vibe, working from 6, 7 p.m. until 4 o'clock in the morning, tattooing all sorts of wild walks of life, creatures of the night, that were, out and about getting tattooed at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. And, that was fine in my early 20s. But as I got older, I started to think about my future, think about what was important to me. And I think what originally drew me to tattooing, if I'm being completely honest, is it seemed like freedom. It seemed like the freedom to work anywhere I want, as long as I have my skills and my hands and my tools. I can travel, I can, work for myself, I can work at a shop, and that really excited me, that freedom. That was what I was after. But after several years of tattooing and realizing that I was still very much dependent on whatever shop I was at. And if I didn't like it there or the vibe wasn't good, then I kind of was trapped in an environment that I didn't like. I couldn't thrive in. And I looked at a lot of tattooers that I worked around that were maybe 10, 15 years older than I was, and they weren't very happy. Like, I didn't see them living a career, a life that I wanted. And I kind of got down on myself. I was honestly pretty depressed. I was using a lot of drugs and alcohol. I was pretty heavy into like cocaine and whiskey. I think that was the only thing that kept some of the shops I worked at together at the time. And it was kind of a depressing place. Like, we were getting by, we're making good money, but we weren't saving money, and we were just pretty dependent on this shop. And I decided that I wanted to take control of my future. And I wanted to quit drinking, quit doing drugs, and I wanted to learn about the business, the finance side of running a tattoo studio, operating as my own individual business. And so I started to get interested in that stuff, but it wasn't until a couple years after that, after getting sober, maybe 2 or 3 years into sobriety, I was working at a shop, and it was pretty dramatic. I'll be honest, the shop was owned by this couple, and it was like, what mood is mom and dad going to be in every day? I don't know if anyone's been in that kind of a shop environment. And I was walking to work, and I was like, I love tattooing. I am dreading going to work today. That doesn't make any sense. And it kind of was this kind of second epiphany that, like, all right, I kind of understand how to save and invest for the future now. I started to learn that stuff, but I really didn't understand at the fundamental level business and marketing and what it takes to grow a business. And it was like that same thing that inspired me about tattooing, that freedom. I, at that moment, saw like, oh, if I read books on marketing, if I read Seth Godin and Eugene Schwartz and, understand online marketing, website, SEO, copywriting, then I'm going to be able to get that freedom that I wanted from tattooing. And so shortly after that, I quit that shop. I opened up a private studio. I immediately started to implement the tools that I'm going to show you today to grow that business. And I was still figuring it out on my own, but after probably about 5 or 6 years of expanding my shop every other year, and here I'll show you. So that was in 2016. I had like a private one booth tattoo studio. I kind of crammed a second booth into that little studio. After about 2 years, I was marketing, I was growing. I hired another artist. I had 2 booths and I expanded that studio. I was able to reinvest a lot of the money that I was making back into the studio. And then all of a sudden, I'm earning passive income because I can rent out a booth. I can keep myself and everyone busy at the studio. Fast forward, I then in 2020 opened up a much bigger space. I had about 4 tattoo booths in a 750 square foot private studio. Now, these are all private studios so far in New York City, in one of the most saturated markets in the world. And I didn't rely on walk-ins and I didn't rely on anyone else's business. I relied on the exact marketing strategy that I'm going to break down for you today that implements getting awareness, building trust, creating conversations, and ultimately creating systems that help me book more appointments. That's what I was doing, and that's what I'm going to show you how to do. And in 2023, I actually opened up a street shop in Brooklyn, New York. It was around the time that I also started helping other tattooers grow their business, save for the future, and that's what I do full time now. Is I own this shop, but I also help tattooers around the world save and grow their businesses, and that's what I'm going to show you how to do in this video. So step 1 is all about building trust and awareness. That's it. And in fact, if you just focus all your energy on step 1, you would inevitably end up booking more appointments, but I'll show you how the other steps really help speed up the process. So I want you to think of your business like a farm, okay? And your farm grows tattoos. That's the crop that you grow. Now, if you wanted to grow any crop, first we need soil and we need nutrient soil. And so how we're building trust, nurturing the soil is through, 1, social media content. I'm not going to lie, it's a big part of this strategy. It's not the only part because we don't want to rely on social media. And it doesn't require that you get tens of millions of likes and become a content creator and influencer. Now, that's not what I'm talking about, but you'll see what I mean by using social media to build trust. You're going to use your website, your local marketing, your referrals, your reviews. All of these, we want to get as much trust and awareness through cultivating and nurturing the soil of our business. All right. Then, if we want to grow tattoos, right, we can't just have really rich soil full of trust. We need to plant seeds. And so, planting seeds, I'm saying every conversation that you create, whether that's a DM, a comment, an email, a text, a phone call, or an in-person conversation, every single conversation you have can lead to a tattoo. And you want to think about how many conversations, how many seeds am I planting every single month with potential clients? How many DMs, how many comments am I responding to? How many emails am I sending out? How many texts, how many phone calls, how many in-person conversations? Because not every conversation turns into a tattoo. And not every conversation turns into a tattoo right away. Some do down the line. And when we've cultivated a good amount of trust in our business, in our brand, right? That's all brand is trust, right? When people look at the Nike brand and they're interested in sports and just doing it, right? If that's their thing, it's not my thing, but if that's their thing, they trust that brand. That's all brand is. So you're building trust in you. That's what building your brand is. And then you're creating conversations with people that are interested in what you are about. And you're planting as many seeds as possible because that is what will eventually turn into tattoos. Now, just stay with me. This will all make sense throughout this process, but this really works. Every single person that I've taught this to has been able to book more tattoos using this. Now, what a lot of tattooers have been doing since, past COVID and stuff like that, 2023 going into 2024, is they're waiting around for tattoos to grow themselves. You're not spending the time nurturing the soil, planting the seeds that will eventually turn into tattoos. You're just throwing a post up on Instagram and you're like, yo, who wants to get tattooed? I had a cancellation, or who wants to enter my raffle for a free tattoo, which, let's be honest, that doesn't really turn into business, does it? It might turn into some new followers, but That's really the only strategy I see people implementing is like they're drawing more flash, they're doing a raffle, they're handing out business cards. You're essentially waiting for tattoos to grow themselves. And so what this strategy does is it shows you how to build your own clients, grow your own clients through nurturing trust and creating conversations. So there's really only 5 ways when you think about it for any new clients to find out about you. There's only 5 ways. There's going to be local marketing. Now, that could be a flyer. It could be a local newsletter. It could be an event locally, right? But it's all local. Then there's website, SEO, search engine optimization, meaning that someone Googled, best tattoo artist in Missoula, and you showed up, right? Because you have search engine optimization in your website. There is social media. And social media is one of the most powerful, and I'm just going to say it is the most powerful marketing tool on the planet right now. It won't always be forever, right? Years ago, email was one of the most powerful marketing tools. Website was the most powerful marketing tools. It's not anymore. Social media really is the most powerful tool, and so do not sleep on it. I'm going to show you what to do with it. People can find out about you through referrals, and they can find out about you through paid ads. So these are one of the 5 ways that people can find out about you. You can say, oh, well, someone could email you, and it's like, well, then that's a referral, right? Or say online is another way. But essentially 5 ways for clients to find out about you. Now, once they find out about you, that doesn't turn them into a client. They just know about you. The next thing you need to do is you need to build trust. And so that's going to happen through, yes, similar things to building awareness, local marketing, websites, social media, reviews, testimonials, but the most powerful way to build trust in you and your business really is going to be social media content, because you want to think about your social media page, your Instagram or TikTok or whatever, both. That's the face. That's where people are coming to not just find out about your tattoos, but to find out about you as a person, as a business. If they see your flyer or they come to your website or someone word of mouth refers their friend to you, the first place they go is your social media profile. Think about that. And if they come on there and they don't see you as an artist, they just see tattoos, they're not really building that trust with you as a person, as a brand. And so even paid ads, right? The paid ads, so many tattooers run paid ads and it doesn't work because they aren't implementing the strategy that I'm going to talk about today. And people are just finding out about you, and you're essentially lighting money on fire because they're not moving their way down the funnel to booking appointments. But a lot of tattooers are basically saying, I'm a tattooer, I'm not a content creator. And so just ask yourself, is tattooing your hobby or is it your business? Is it your career? Because a plumber doesn't want to become a content creator, and yet plumbers, sandwich shops, coffee shops, barbers, hairstylists, all sorts of local businesses are using social media content to grow their business. So again, if tattooing's just your hobby, it's not how you make a living, then don't worry about marketing. Don't worry about anything in this video. But if tattooing's your business, then you want to think about how can you leverage content, social media, to build trust with your ideal clients. And just to nail it down a little bit further and to show you why and how to use social media, this is Alex Hormozi. If you aren't familiar with him, you should go give him a follow on Instagram. He's probably one of the most brilliant entrepreneurs, people that knows how to grow businesses, specifically local businesses. He actually specializes in scaling local businesses. This is what he has to say about creating content. So check this out.
I personally believe that for local businesses, the purpose of content is not to get customers, it is to convert a higher percentage of customers. And so I see the purpose of making content as a local business owner as something that when you do reach out, or if someone does get referred to you, or you do run an ad, people click over to your page and they see if you're legit or if you look friendly, you look nice, they look at the equipment, they look at the facility, say, oh, this place looks cool. Oh, it's right by where I live, or it's right on my way to work. And then they make a decision to move forward. So if you're currently making 0 content, super light lift, make some, like 1 a week, so you just look like you have a heartbeat online. Really high ROI for like 1 piece a week.
And for anyone who doesn't know what ROI means, it stands for return on investment. Really high return on investment of time and energy in making just 1 piece of content per week, just to show that you're a person, just to educate and inform and connect with your audience. Tell them who you are, why you're passionate about tattooing, what you like to do, and how they can work with you. Keep it simple. I think the number one thing that tattooers do with marketing that is stopping them is they're overthinking it. Don't overthink content. Don't overthink marketing. And that's it. 1 to 2 pieces of content to build trust per week, so that if you do have a local marketing campaign, or someone finds your website, or someone refers someone to you, there's content to build trust with people on social media. And that's not the end of it. I promise. I'm going to show you in the next step how this all ties together. But that's step 1, is build trust through content. And in case you're wondering, what should I post? Again, don't overcomplicate it. Don't overthink it. Keep it simple. What do people want? That's all you have to ask yourself. What do people want? Well, they want to feel good. So make content that makes them feel good, right? They want to feel informed. Make content that informs them about tattooing. Make content that makes them feel connected, that they can relate to, right? Maybe you're really into skateboarding, or I had one client that was interested in barbecuing. I had another client that was interested in spirituality and meditating and ayahuasca ceremonies. And they started sharing about this content with their followers. And that was attracting people that were more of their ideal clients. And so you just want to think about putting yourself out there. And I get it. People are like, I don't want people to judge me. And it's like, who's going to judge you? First of all, do they pay your fucking bills? No? Then why do you care what they think about you? I don't know why tattooers are so concerned for a group of people that decided to cover themselves in tattoos to essentially flip off the rest of society because they don't care what people think about them. They are so concerned with what other tattooers think about them, even though other tattoo artists don't pay your bills. So this is an example of a tattooer with over 20 years of experience that started to make content. Again, he wasn't interested in making content. He just wanted to do good tattoos. But after practicing, I tell you, after you get over the first couple of pieces, it gets a lot easier, and you start to realize that you can leverage the trust in the content you build to create conversations that lead to more tattoos. Check this out.
My name's Chris. I've been tattooing in San Diego for over 20 years. I generally make about the same every month, usually between $4,000 and $6,000. I started noticing my books thinning out and kind of dwindling down, maybe to $3,000 a month. My old techniques for just posting photos on Instagram, I wasn't getting any reach or traction or hits from that. Making content has made my clients a lot more familiar with me, and it's made it a lot easier to connect with them and to book appointments from that. After this course, it's been between $6,000 and $8,000 a month, with my highest month being 12.
So that's the whole point, is you just want to make it easier to connect with people. When clients start referencing your content when they come in to get tattooed, that's how you know you're doing a good job. Now, if Chris was able to go from earning $4,000 or $5,000 a month to earning well over $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, and eventually $12,000 in a single month just from using content, right? That's like saying, if I don't want to make content as a tattoo artist, I'm willing to forego $2,000 a month, right? Now, everyone's results from applying this marketing strategy are going to be different, but even if it was $1,000 a month, right? I know I could get another $1,000 to $2,000 per month in clients, but I don't want to make content. That's like saying I'm going to pay $1,000 a month to avoid being uncomfortable online. Like, is that worth it to you? Maybe it is. Maybe you don't mind, making $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month, and making $8,000, $9,000, $10,000, $12,000 a month isn't that important to you. If that's the case, then don't make content. Like, I'm not forcing you to do anything, but if you have goals, dreams, aspirations of growing your business, maybe you want to buy a house one day, maybe you want to save and invest for retirement, if that future is really important to you, is it more important than getting a little uncomfortable and making content and just sharing yourself authentically? Like, to me, that sounds like a great deal. I'd rather make content and live the life that I want, have financial control of my future, than, just be sour in the corner bitching and moaning about the industry. I don't know. Maybe that's you. You do you. But if you want to move on to step 2, create conversations. Once you've created trust with your ideal clients, People are seeing your social media. People are coming to your website. People are referring them to you. Maybe you start running paid ads. Again, you don't have to run paid ads to make this work. But when you have this whole system in place and you do run paid ads, it's like pouring gasoline on a fire. Now it's time that we create conversations, and we can email, phone, text, and DMs. And I'll be honest, it goes down in the DMs. The money is really in the DMs. You do want to be creating conversations every way that you can, but from what I've seen, people are excited to chat with you as a tattooer. People are like, oh shit, this tattooer's hitting me up. You know, you can connect with them, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So if building trust is the soil, right, like we said, and conversations are the seeds that we're planting in the trust that we build, and you wanted to grow more tattoos, right? That was your goal. Would you A, wait around to see what grows on its own, or B, plant as many seeds as you can as often as you can? Again, you don't know which conversations are going to turn into tattoos. And I've seen tattoo artists complain that like they get ghosted in the DMs, that people aren't taking them seriously. I'm like, yo, why are you complaining? That was literally someone that showed interest in working with you, and maybe something happened and they couldn't do it right now, or the message got lost. Follow up with them in a week or two. You know, you have a warm lead on the hook, someone that's genuinely shown interest. And yes, some of these conversations aren't going to turn into tattoos, but you got to get over that. Get over that and start planting as many seeds as you can. And yeah, some of them are going to say, oh, the price is too much. And some of them are going to say, oh, my dog got fucking the flu and I can't make it or whatever. But having as many conversations after you've built that trust with your audience, I'm telling you, this is where the money's at. So how many conversations do you create in a month through email, through text, through DM, through comments, right? Overall, are you creating conversations? Are you planting seeds? Because if you're only planting 2-3 seeds a week, a month, if you're only messaging a couple people, a handful, you're only emailing a dozen or so people per month, and not every one of them is going to end up booking an appointment, then you're going to be pretty slow. I'll be honest. And you probably need to be starting around 100 to 300 conversations per month. That's a good place to start, because again, maybe 10% of those actually become appointments. So 10% of 30 is 30 appointments in a month. That's a good month, right? If you did 30 tattoos in a month, that's not a bad month at all. So you want to think about like, all right, a lot of these conversations aren't going to convert, but 10, maybe even 20%. If we're good, if your copywriting, if your messaging is solid and you've built that trust, you're actually going to convert a higher percentage, which means you need to start fewer conversations every month. And so starting conversations with past clients is one thing, but what if you had no clients? What if you were starting in a new city and you didn't have anyone? You would need to first build trust and nurture that relationship before you could create conversations with new clients. The problem is people are coming to your Instagram page and they're seeing the Cherry Creek flash rack of designs and they don't see a person, and they're like, I'm not going to talk to this flash rack, right? If you shot people a message and you're like, hey, how's it going? Thanks for giving me a follow. Just wanted to introduce myself, because that's a very simple, easy message. And they're like, introduce who? What? I don't know who you are, because you're not sharing any of yourself on your page. You're just showing me some cool tattoos, sure, but I need to know who you are before I really want to have a conversation with you. And I'm telling you, if you want to increase the number of people that actually respond to your DMs, then you need to share yourself on your page. And just to show you that this works, even if you have no clients, even if you've moved to a new city and you have no one there to work with, this is an example of putting this into practice and the results it produces.
I moved from Ontario to Calgary and I had nothing. I didn't know anybody and I didn't know how to kind of promote myself at all. From nothing, I pretty much was doing $700 in the month. He had sent me a couple things to try, and it was literally 2 days later, I paid for the course. I booked 15 appointments that weekend, and it was like $2,600 take home for that first weekend. It totally changed my view on not just tattooing, but like running a business.
So shifting your perspective from, I just do good tattoos that speak for themselves, to I do good tattoos that I speak for. That's shifting your mindset from a hobby to a business. And that's what Nick Ward was able to do. And so now we've got the build awareness, right? We're getting people aware of us. We're then building trust through all of these strategies, but mostly, yes, social media. We're then creating as many conversations as we can. I didn't even get into email marketing, but having emails that you send out, having some templates, some newsletters that you just let people know what you're up to, having that, keeping that, those clients warm through all means, all content and conversations is how you move people down the funnel to the point where you have people that can't wait to book appointments with you. And once they're ready to book an appointment, you need systems that do a lot of this work for you. And so step 3 is putting systems in place. Now, what were these artists doing before they did my full marketing program, the Artful Marketer? And what were they doing after? Right? If we can tell the difference between what they did before and what they did after, that would help you out a lot, right? Well, the biggest thing that they did was they had marketing systems in place. And so one of the most important systems that I want you to start implementing today, you can literally start doing right now, is stop binge marketing, start being consistent. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So usually what tattooers do is they market, and then every couple of days they market a little bit more, and maybe they share an email or they hand out some cards or there's a flyer. And maybe towards the end of the month, we make a couple more posts on Instagram and say, hey, come get tattooed. I've got availability and I got to pay my rent, right? That's binge marketing, where we're periodically doing something to generate more clients, right? And just posting a picture of a tattoo on Instagram isn't really doing something to generate more clients. So this might be less than this. I don't know where you're at, but every 30 days, you're binge marketing essentially. Inconsistent marketing equals inconsistent appointments. Write that down. If you're inconsistent, you're going to be inconsistent in your bookings. After the Artful Marketer program, they were consistent. And here's what that looks like. They have daily practices, somewhere between 15 and 30 minutes a day, put into creating conversations, put into creating templates and systems and content that turn into building trust and creating conversations, right? There's a daily practice. And yeah, you can take some days off, right? You don't want to be working every single day, but making sure that you're persistently and consistently creating trust and conversations is key. Then every week we focus on one weekly task that maybe is a little bit more time consuming. Maybe it takes an hour to fulfill and not 20, 30 minutes a day, right? It's a little bit bigger. Maybe we're doing some local marketing, or we're updating a blog post on our website to get more SEO traffic, or we're collaborating with a local business to leverage the trust that they've built, right? We're doing something that takes a little bit more effort. And then every month, there's going to be actions that take a lot more time, like getting your website set up, getting your scheduling software, your booking systems in place, setting up automatic monthly or weekly email drip campaigns. So the more consistent you are, the more consistent your appointments are going to be. It's basically like, rather than waiting for you to need to make money to do marketing, you're consistently marketing whether or not you need appointments. And that way, when you do need appointments, and you rarely will, you don't need to make that post that says like, oh, someone canceled. Who wants to fill that spot? In fact, you're stoked that someone canceled because you've been so booked out that it's almost a relief that you've got some time to breathe and you can go fuck off, go to the park, go hang out with your kid, go for a hike because someone canceled. Like, thank God someone canceled. And so the most important system that you can put in place is your schedule, your daily, weekly, and monthly marketing actions. If I can't automate it, I create a template for it. If I can't create a template for it, I habituate it. I create a habit. And that's what marketing needs. You need a daily, weekly, and monthly marketing habit. And then that habit's going to help you put your website SEO, your booking software, your email text campaigns, your social media, all those other things in place. And so for your website, yeah, you need local specific keywords so that people in your area can find you. You need Google reviews so that your business looks trusted on the internet. You need booking software and a client relations manager to automatically collect and organize information. Think about it. If you've been tattooing for 5 to 10 years, and I talk to a lot of tattooers that have been tattooing for over a decade, but they don't have a database of every single person they've worked with over the past 10 years. And so if you wanted to let everyone know about a fundraiser that you're doing, which builds trust, you wouldn't be able to contact hundreds or even over 1,000 clients that you've tattooed in the past. You'd have to scrape their emails that you wouldn't even know where to start. And so by not automatically collecting client information, emails, phone numbers, Instagram names in your booking software, in your client relationship manager, you are costing yourself tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars over the course of your career. I'm sorry, it's expensive. Information is valuable and not having it is expensive. You also save a ton of time and energy with back and forth emails, and it's easy to book with you. If you want to make more bookings happen, you want to make it as easy as possible for people to book an appointment with you. I saw a post on Threads the other day. I don't know if y'all are on Threads, but get on there. It's actually a pretty good place to connect with potential clients. This barber was posting a thread about how difficult tattooers make it to book appointments with them. And you might not think it's that difficult to book an appointment with you, but you have to think about it from a client's perspective. People are used to clicking a button to buy something, to schedule something. It's that simple. But then with tattooers, it's like 14 back and forth emails, and your schedule is weird and their schedule is weird, and they don't know when works, and they have to answer all these questions, and they tell you what they want, but then you need more information, so you send them another. It's just so fucking annoying for clients to book appointments with tattooers. We need to make it easy for them, and that's what booking software does. It automates, it simplifies, it streamlines the whole booking process. Having automatic drip campaigns. So being able, you don't want to have to send emails out to every single person you've ever worked with just to touch base and stay warm and keep those leads warm and excited about working with you again. You want a system that does that automatically for you. You want templates that when you do send out a newsletter or an event, or you're letting people know about a guest spot, you have templates already pre-made. Again, if I can't automate it, I create a template for it. And if I can't create a template for it, I create a habit around it. That's the kind of systems that you want in place for email marketing and social media. You need a content reference library. You need to look at content that's already performing well and use that as reference for the content that you want to make. You also need systems and templates for making content, so you're not always reinventing the wheel every time. You have to come up with an idea for content. Creating systems, just writing out ahead of time, what type of stuff do you want to make content on? And that way you can always easily have ideas preloaded to make content for the future. And something that I'm not going to go deep into today, but DM automation, being able to automatically create dozens, if not hundreds of conversations with potential clients by offering some sort of a lead magnet, something that they're interested in, that solves a problem, gives them value, gives them a solution, and then set it up. There's a program called ManyChat. And if you follow me on Instagram, you might have asked for a free resource that I'm giving out, and then my automated ManyChat system will reply to you, but then I'm the one having the conversation. And so it's just a way to streamline dozens, if not hundreds of conversations that then might potentially turn into an appointment. And tattooers should be using all of this in their marketing strategy. By the way, what does all this have in common? Well, it has words, communication, copywriting. Every bit of marketing is words. All of marketing is communication. It's what you say, it's how you say it, it's where you say it, it's when you say it, it's how often you say it. And one of the worst things that I see tattooers guilty of is maybe they say something, they speak up to resonate with their audience, they do it once and they never do it again. They shut the fuck up. They're just not doing it often enough to build that repetition and that trust, that consistency. So all of marketing really comes down to what you say, how you say it, where you say it, when, and how often you say it. You have to speak up regularly. And an example of this, I gave Samantha a straight up template. I was like, send this specific email out to all your past clients. I promise you, you will make money off of this one template. And that's why it's so important to have templates that are proven to work, that you can use every couple months. You can just shoot it off and okay, I can pretty much rely on the fact that I'm going to book a couple $1,000s in appointments off of one email. I sent her the exact template. She sent it out. She was able to generate over $3,000 in revenue from those appointments. And that's why you need to have copywriting. That's why your communication needs to resonate and really connect with your ideal clients. So the whole formula, right, is build trust, create conversations, and then build systems that build trust and create conversations for you, essentially, through your website, your booking software. And now, how do we put all of this together? That's where I really want to help you out here. So consider that everything you do, your local marketing, your word of mouth, your business cards, that is creating awareness, right? And that awareness then leads people to your social media page where you create conversations and you book them into your booking software. And so all of these, right, if they find you on the internet, they find you locally, word of mouth, they're coming here, and it's about repetition, consistently sharing content, not just once or twice, but at least once or twice per week. That builds that trust, resonates, because that's also going to get more engagement, and then that engagement is going to increase the views and engagement on all your tattoo content. So that's, I'm telling you, this is how this works. You don't need to go viral. You don't need to do TikTok dances or fucking shake your milkshake. You just need to get on there and be authentic and talk about what you are honestly passionate about. And most of you, that's tattooing. So talk about that. Share, transfer that emotion. That's what marketing is. It's a transfer of emotion from you, the passionate artist, the business owner, to the client, the person that is interested and is going to get infected with that emotion, that passion that you have through your content. You then get to create conversations with people through comments, through DMs. They've already built and nurtured that trust with you. They get booked for an appointment into your scheduling software, and then you collect their data so that you can always easily and effortlessly into the future keep creating conversations with past and new clients. That's how this whole formula works, right? Now, the most important part of all of this is your mindset. And I've said this before, like, if you are not thinking like a business, if you're just stuck in the past and doing what the old tat wizards say, just keep working on doing good tattoos, tattoos should speak for themselves. That's an old mindset that used to work, but we need to update. You're using Windows 95 and it's 2024, so we need to get with the times, okay? If you don't believe that you can double your income by doing this, creating awareness, building trust, creating conversations, and using systems to easily and effortlessly book more appointments. If you don't believe this, that this is possible, then this isn't going to work for you because you're not actually going to take it seriously. I'm dead serious about this. Like, if you don't believe that this is possible for you, you're going to dabble in it. You're like, okay, Ryan, that's nice. You might put a little bit into play of what I just talked about, but you're not going to follow through with it in a way that actually produces results in the next 30 days. And if you keep making excuses, I don't like making content, I feel awkward, I don't have enough time, blah, 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 you will never have results because you either have results or you have excuses, but you don't ever have both. If you think about it, there's never been a time in your life where you had the results you wanted to produce and you had the excuses as to why you couldn't do it. And a lot of tattooers right now, they're pretty heavy. They're pretty deep in excuses and not so deep in results. And so where you place the blame is where you place the power. If you keep blaming the market is oversaturated, all the apprentices and the tattoo schools and the economy's in the shitter and inflation, you are placing the blame on stuff that you have no power to do anything about. You can't change it. You can't do anything. And therefore you are off the hook. You are not responsible for your results because you blamed XYZ. And so I'm getting heated here, but I'm passionate about this. I want you to blame yourself, not beat yourself up, but say, all right, if I'm not booking the amount of appointments I want to book, then it's my fault and I'm going to do something about it. Then you place the blame on yourself. You have the power to do something about that. Where you place the blame is where you place the power. And if you keep treating tattooing like a hobby, then you won't have a successful business. Period. Not in the future. That could have been the case. That was the case right? Started tattooing over 15 years ago. It was the case that we didn't need to really think too much like a business and we could make a good amount of money as a tattooer. And it's not that people don't want to get tattooed. It's that the business of tattooing has changed. Think about Blockbuster and Netflix, right? The business of how people consume movies has changed, and that put Blockbuster out of business. They refused to see that, but Netflix saw the future and they embraced the future. They embraced and adapted to change. And the tattooers that embrace and adapt to change are going to be the ones that thrive in the future, and everyone else is going to be Blockbuster. So it's up to you to choose, where do you want to be in tattooing? Are you plan on tattooing in 2025, 26, all the way into 10 years from now? Then I highly recommend you start to adapt and shift your mindset around your business. And so these are just a couple people who I got to work with and talking about the difference it made to shift their mindset. And like I said, this lesson, this video here is like the crash course. I do have a full course. If you're interested, I'll talk about it in a little bit, but shifting your mindset around your business is what's needed to grow your business. And then you start taking new actions, right? Matt Miller doing over 9,000, going from 4K to 9K, going from 5 to 7K to 12,000 in a month. Anastasia, 8 to 9K, up from 6K. Her highest month was 11K. Putting this exact strategy in place. I'm not making this stuff up. I'm not inventing. I didn't, walk into the shower and think, oh, I should talk about marketing funnels. No, I've proven this stuff works time and time again. Booking out 3 to 4 weeks, and then booking out 5 to 7 weeks, making more money every month. It works in every country. I've worked in people with Germany, Australia, Tijuana. I've worked in Canada. I mean, this stuff works all over the place. Jessica, actually, I really loved her story. She said that it really only took her about 2 weeks, right? The first 2 weeks of implementing this strategy and taking it really seriously, she booked out all of February, filled up her books, and she took $2,600 just in deposits in the first 2 weeks. And then she probably generated about $8,000 to $9,000 just from building trust, creating conversations, and putting systems in place, right? Chris Cockrell, I shared his video earlier. Again, he did over 12,000 take home. I have dozens of these, right? I have so many of these, I've proven that it works. And so you either can, at this point, you can go and do this. And I hope that you do. I hope every single person that watches this video implements this, right? Or you can get some help with this. And so I just want to share about the Artful Marketer program at this point for anyone that's interested. Again, if you're not, just turn this video off, go start doing something, build some trust, create some content, go message some people. But if you're actually looking to speed up this process and knock it out of the park, like, you either pay in time or you pay in time, energy, and money, right? And so for anyone that's looking for some mentorship, that's what I do. I speed up results. I help people get knockout results very, very quickly. And I'm going to share some information about that. So if you're not interested, get out of here. Go market yourself. And if you want to see what it's like to get some support, I'll talk a little bit about that now. So first, what I do is I help you identify the problem in your marketing strategy. That's the very first thing that we do. We hop on a call. We look at what's the problem, what's the bottleneck, where are people coming in, but they're not really staying? What is it in the content? Is it in the conversations? Is it in the awareness? Is it all of it? What's personally stopping you? Is it your mindset? And we find the solution. So that's the first thing, is a one-on-one call where we look at the bottleneck and find the solution. And like I said, it could be in any one of these areas. It could be in all of them. There are tattooers who I talk to who they're thinking they need to make more money, and they're making $8,000 to $12,000 a month right now. And really the problem is that they are not saving any of that money. They don't have good systems for that. So I have a whole waterfall money system, which I'll talk about on another video. But if you are making money, you're not saving it, that's a problem. But most tattooers that I talk to these days, they could be making more money, and there's a bottleneck. So we want to find the solution, and then we take a look at what's going to best serve you, right? Is it the Artful Dollar? Is it the Artful Marketer? One focuses on marketing for tattooers. The other one focuses on finance for all artists. We work with all different kinds of creatives. And so just to give you a little sneak peek of what that looks like, I'm going to show you a little behind the scenes of the Artful Dollar program, the Artful Marketer program. So on this platform is where I host all of my pre-recorded lessons and courses. And you can see here, this is the Artful Marketer. So we have one assignment. So a lot of people, they do the first assignment that I have, and that's when they say like, oh, I booked a dozen appointments in 2 weeks. It's because that first assignment I give people is just a way to leverage the trust you've already built to create a ton of conversations very quickly that lead to a ton more clients. And then my lighthouse game, which is the habit, the daily, weekly, monthly actions around marketing, and everything else just breaks down in detail how to implement social media, scheduling software, websites, something I call lead magnets, local marketing strategies, email marketing, like every part of the awareness, build trust, create conversations, put systems in place. I break down, I walk through it step by step. I pretend you eat crayons, okay? I basically assume that you've never used a computer before. I make it so simple. And I know a lot of people appreciate that because tattooers, a lot of us, we have some sort of ADHD or spectrum or combination of things going on. And to have something broken down, spoken from a tattoo artist to a tattoo artist in a way that you can implement very quickly and easily, I find that's what's needed to get very quick results. So that's what the Artful Marketer program is. There's also a whole community of tattoo artists that come on here. We have a group chat. We have people sharing their wins and getting excited and supporting each other in what they're up to in their business. And like I said, I never felt like I fit in tattooing until I created my own community of tattooers that are supporting each other, lighting each other up, getting fuck tons of engagement on their posts, and inspiring each other. And that's what the Artful Marketer and Artful Dollar are. Like I said, I have a whole system for finances and everything in here. I'm not going to get into that today, but I go deep into saving, investing, growing your business for the future for anyone that's interested in that as well. And so the first step for anyone that is even remotely interested in getting some support around this stuff is to book a one-on-one marketing strategy call so we can first identify specifically what's the problem you're dealing with and what's the solution. Because at that point, I might just be able to tell you what to do and you can solve that problem for yourself. And if it's something that you are looking for more support around, we can talk about what that looks like, right? These are the bottlenecks. These are the types of things I can help you with. Now, I do want to say this is for professional tattooers with over 1 year of full-time experience. I don't want apprentices booking this call because you need to focus on building your tattoo skills before you focus on building your marketing and your business practices. It's not going to be that helpful to shine light on tattoos that don't look like they're done by a professional. So you want to make sure that at the very least, your tattoos look like they're done by a professional. And obviously, everyone's results are different. So the better your tattoos are, the better your results will be. And you must be coachable. You must be growth oriented and serious about investing time, energy, money in the future of your tattoo business. I can't say it enough. There are a lot of tattooers that have a very closed, fixed mindset. If that's you, do not book this call. If you're looking to grow and expand what you're capable of because you've got big fucking dreams and you want to buy a fucking house and start your own business and travel the world and be able to retire one day and take care of yourself and your family, if that's what you're up to, then this call is for you. But if you just want to sit around and make excuses, right, this is not the call. This is the for people who are up to shit call. Book a call. I will review all of your marketing platforms before the call, and I'll show you exactly how you can improve in order to book more appointments. So that's what we're doing on this one-on-one call. You can ask me any questions that you want, and if it seems like I can help you further, then we can discuss what that looks like on the call. There's a couple different ways that I support tattooers, and we can talk about that in more detail. So for anyone interested in that, you can scan this QR code and or hit the link in the bio. I have some more information there. But schedule a call with me. I do charge for this because my time is valuable, your time is valuable, and I only want people that are seriously interested in investing in themselves and taking their business to the next step, right? If you take this call, it's 30 minutes, and you get something that helps you book at least one tattoo appointment, it'll probably be worth it, right? So that's the whole goal of this. And then for those that really do need and want ongoing support, we can talk about that too. Either way, this is for people that are serious about investing in themselves, their future, and adapting to the changes that are happening in the tattoo industry. And just so you know, like, don't even take it from me. Take it from Dan Wesley. He's been tattooing for almost 30 years. He's a shop owner. Listen to what he has to say and then make a decision as to whether or not this call is for you.
From what I'm seeing and almost 3 decades in, this is a pivotal moment in tattoo history as far as business. Things are done completely different now than they were 5 years ago, let alone 15 years ago. And just being an old dog, I didn't want to get stuck behind the curve too much. The brass tacks are 4 months into this, at least 10 grand this course has made me. Easy. Made my money back inside the first week. And that's even lowballing it because I landed 2 sleeves off of this. So just the sessions that I've done with that, like the money that's actually in hand now, over $10,000. I feel like I can handle whatever type of slow season is going to happen. It's just nice to be able to come home, not stress out about marketing or what else can I do. For those of you who are on the fence about taking this course, I tell you, pull the trigger. You're going to make your money back. Just know you got to put in the work. It's not, this isn't a magic wand. This wasn't, you revealed something and I didn't have to do anything. Like, open your mind to, I'm going to put in the work. I'm going to do what he says. If it makes me feel uncomfortable, whatever, it's business. So you're going to have to just know you're getting a little dirty, but pull the trigger.
So that's what Dan had to say after his experience working with us. And like I said, everyone's results are going to be different, but in just a few months, he was able to generate over $10,000 in additional revenue. And honestly, I mean, if you think about, like, that's just the beginning. If he keeps using this marketing strategy for the rest of his career, and he's probably got at least another 10 years of tattooing under his belt, you know, that just compounds over time. So I don't even really like focusing on how much someone makes in a short period of time. I'm more focused on, how is this serving you for the rest of your life? And what does it look like if you don't get some support around this? What does it look like if you keep doing what you've been doing that isn't really getting you the results? What does it cost you every single month? What does the future of tattooing look like, and where is your place in it? So if you want to make sure, if you want to solidify your place in the future of tattooing as your career and your way of earning income, providing for yourself and your family for the future, then I invite you to book a call so that we can create that strategy that's going to get you there. For anyone that's watched this far and maybe the call isn't the right fit for you, maybe you should just check out my podcast and my other free resources on my Instagram account. There's tons of stuff that you can use there. But for anyone that is ready, you know you're serious to take that next step, I look forward to chatting with you. Either way, I hope this video was helpful. I hope this helps you book more appointments, implement the trust, conversation, system strategy immediately. And until next time, Ryan Roy, I'm here as your business and finance coach for tattoo artists and all artists extraordinaire. Thank you and have a wonderful day.